Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rayman 3 HD on the Xbox 360. I'm One Wild Sheep yet again, and today now it's time for a gimmick level, I suppose. We are now on a pirate ship, and this stage there's not much to the stage at all. You can climb around the ship, collect goodies and what have you, but as you can tell at the bottom left of the screen there is actually now a radar present. Basically we're going to have mooks popping in from the left, right, top and bottom, and we're going to need to shoot the cannons at said mooks in order to survive. And it basically lasts until, I believe until the health bar at the bottom of the screen disappears, so basically you go to people and you continuously shoot these cannons, that's all I can really say. And it's actually a really fun gimmick mission, but the only problem I have with it is, if you notice, the radar doesn't actually turn in correspondence to your camera. So it can be a little bit confusing at times in order to figure out, okay, I need to go left, I need to go right, I need to go north, I need to go south. Sometimes I do have issues actually finding the mooks I'm meant to be shooting at, because I just get really confused as to what my direction is in comparison to the camera. For example, I just hit the north cannon there, when in fact the enemy is coming from the south. But it's a neat little level, it's something different, it changes up the pace of the game somewhat, and it's definitely not hard. Like, your health bar at the top of the screen will always go down whenever they shoot a cannonball at the ship. But for the most part, you'd never really have to worry, because they don't do much damage at all, and even though there's tons of these mooks, as long as you sort of go into a clockwise or counterclockwise pattern, jumping to each cannon to cannon, shooting at these guys as quick as possible, you should be safe for the long run, you know? And as you can probably guess, it is a bit of a war of attrition game here, because these guys are going to be shooting at you. But you don't have to worry too much about that because, well, simply put, you can do more damage to them than they can do to you. Although one big issue I do kind of have at this stage is sometimes the actual enemies are off screen, they're not on the radar, they're just far out in the ocean so they don't show up. And they can still shoot you from that far away, so it can be a little bit tricky when you're playing through, because sometimes you just can't see an enemy coming and they'll just get a cheap hit onto your boat. But it's a really simple mission, it's really neat to change of pace, I like it. So there is that. Although you will probably get dizzy going back and forth throughout this bloody boat all the time, because I'm dizzy just watching the footage, let alone when I was playing the game. But I digress. Also, one thing, as I mentioned in the previous part, there's a lot of frame rate issues in terms of the Xbox port of this game, and that's very prevalent with the choppy chopper power, which you've probably noticed a lot of times during the playthrough, and I think I even brought this up when I first used the choppy chopper power, but if you notice, the game goes all choppy on us when we go to collect it, and that's not a coincidence, it's a pain. It's an absolute pain. I don't understand what causes it, and it drives me mad. But of course, after a while, you destroy all of the mooks coming in from each of the sides. Bob's your uncle. We have victorious. High of grammar as well. We are victorious, and hey, look at that ominous island in the distance. I believe that's our next destination. There's no transition either. We just teleport to the island. Okay, whatever, whatevs. I can dig it. But of course, as you can probably guess, this is the game's obligatory ice level. However, it's not actually, I'd say snow level mainly, because you don't really have to deal with ice physics or anything like that. You just have to deal with snow-based obstacles. You just need to deal with avalanches and whatnot. And you also have to deal with this Christmassy as all hell music. I mean, Jesus. I should have done this around Christmas time for the LPs, because at least then it would have fit the season, but I digress. I do actually like this particular zone we're in. It's very, I don't know, I think it's because of the music, it's just really relaxing to play through for the most part. Ignoring when the mooks come in and replaces the ding 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 with, but I digress. Anyway, these mooks by here, these are an absolute pain to deal with. If you get too close to them, they will spin at you uncontrollably. So what I sort of recommend doing is just punching them back at a very long distance. Basically try and stay as far away as possible while still being in range, and just punch them until they go back enough. Then grab the punchy punch power with that guy in particular and charge it up and let her rip, and that will basically kill him in a single blow. It's easy peasy. But what isn't easy peasy, however, is this challenge right by here. I despise these boulders. They're so easy to get clipped by. The camera is not helpful at all. And you can collect collectibles and suddenly, oh, a boulder will just pop off the cliff and just crush you. It's a very annoying little platforming sequence. I'm not too fond of this area, like this in particular anyway. By far, definitely the worst part of the snow level. While the best part of it is coming up at the end of the video. Yeah, something to be excited about. Oh my. But of course, like I said, these enemies are a pain to deal with. So with this one in particular, we don't have a punchy punch power at our disposal. So how are we going to take care of him? Just stay miles away and keep punching him until he goes into the fireplace behind him. Fire bad, fire hot. Fire burns bad, guys. Of course, fire burns just about everything. It's sort of the nature of fire, so basically just keep punching him until he goes into the fire, and whoop-de-doop, we have a choppy chop power to use. Also, if you remember as well, because you may have forgotten considering it's been so long since the last part, we do have the ability to stick our tongue out at black lums whenever we kill these hoodlums, which will turn them into red lums to give us a bit of extra health. And you're going to start seeing me use this every single time I kill mooks, because, well, basically, it's free health, you know? And as you can tell right now, my health is pretty low, because your health doesn't actually recover in between levels, which I think is a little bit strange. So, throughout some levels like this one in particular, you're probably going to find yourself running around like a headless chicken looking for health power-ups, because you either took a little bit of damage throughout the course of the game, or all the way up until this point, or something along those lines. I can't remember if you regain health, however, if you collect enough of the teensy boxes to increase your total health. So I don't know if that actually increases your health with the NG gauge or not. I'm gonna take my guesses and say it doesn't, but anyway, moving onwards, these new mooks by here, these are a new type of enemy. They fly, they shoot fire, and sometimes they shoot bubbles. If you get caught in the bubbles, then you're gonna be frozen for a few seconds, and I believe the only way to get out of a bubble is to punch, so it's not that big a deal, you know, you can still easily get out. They're not a big deal, you know, just keep punching them until they go down. Their bark is worse than their bite, basically, that's what I'm getting at here. Also, try and do side swipe attacks as well. Because if you notice, whenever I'm doing a straight-on punch at these guys, basically my punches just flat out missing them a lot of the time. So just try and punch them from the side, try and do a hook, if you will. And if you're wondering how to do that, well, you should know at this point, you press left or right when you press punch. It's as simple as that. Oh, I love this soundtrack. Oh, it's so good, it's so good. See, I'm surprised you don't see many levels that have like a Christmassy sort of tune in games that often. A good example is probably not ukulele. That's not even out. Banjo-Kazooie. Like Freeze Easy Peak is one of my favorite levels of all time in video gaming, and it's so Christmassy, it's so upbeat. I don't know. You don't see Christmas-based stuff in games that much, and it's a shame. It really is a shame. It's like when I was doing my Yoshi LP, I mentioned in that LP in particular that why don't companies make these level themes or something along the lines, or maybe make games have certain themes during winter seasons and whatnot. You know, because they have clocks in these consoles now, they can use the clocks to find out what year or what day or what time it is, you know? Use that to its advantage. It's like 5 games on the planet that uses that sort of feature, and it bugs me. Use the internal clock on these things, goddammit. But I digress. Time to use the rocket power, and boom. Ouch. I don't know what hit me. It's just, my rocket suddenly runs out and suddenly boom. Oh, okay. Sorry, Olaf, you're holding all of the collectibles. I do need to collect them all. Delicious. Anyway, if you're wondering why I'm going back, I am trying to grab this power-up again, because like I said previously, a good thing to do in these games is collect the power-ups before you collect the collectibles, because what will happen is the power-ups will give you double the points. Although that big mound of yellow gems that Olaf was holding, I probably should have got Punchy Punch Rayman before I actually punched those and got hold of all those collectibles, but whatever. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the long run. What can I say? There's not much to say though for this particular sequence, you know, it's the same sort of stuff we've been seeing throughout the course of the game. Although this Mooka in particular is very annoying, but hey, you have a punchy punch power at this point, you should be safe. Should be safe, you know, you never know, you could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong, you could not know how to play this game properly, and yeah, it's quite annoying. Actually, when I just did my pokey tongue ability because I was close to the wall, for some reason I just had a feeling that Rayman would just get his tongue stuck to the wall. Like if you stick your tongue out at something during really really cold weather, like a pole or something that's frozen over, your tongue can stick to it. I'm surprised they didn't. Well, I'm not surprised because that's a bit out there, but it would have been neat if they had something like that where Rayman gets his tongue stuck to the wall or something. This is why I should be a game director. I'll add millions of Easter eggs. The game itself will have nothing, but the Easter eggs will be all there. I'd make a game that's probably the equivalent of Space Invaders, and suddenly every month it'd be like Christmas Space Invaders, Halloween Space Invaders, where you play as Mike Myers or something, and you shoot lasers because why not? What else? Thanksgiving Space Invaders, where you play as turkeys? That'd be pretty cool, actually. You shoot feathers at the invaders. Oh my god, that's a genius idea. Someone on YouTube, if you're watching this LP, get to it. Get to that LP, not LP. Get to making that game. Make chicken Space Invaders. I could actually, Space Invaders is such a simple game. I could program that myself, but I'm lazy. I'm lazy. The official excuse is I'm busy doing these videos. I'm too busy doing these to entertain you to make something like that. But the real reason I'm lazy. So there is that. Oh no! More of the same guys we fought a million times before now. However, are we going to deal with these? Oh, whatever will I do? That was such a child. Oh, there's another guy left. I spoke a bit too soon. You know, these guys that chuck the grenades at you, they're really not a big threat if they're out in the open like that, because the grenades are so slow. It's kind of a waste, really. I would expect them to really... I don't know, I'm surprised they didn't do something else with those grenade nukes. You know, like chuck them off screen so you can't quite hit him and he's a constant threat throughout the area. I would have done that, because then... You know it's annoying, you won't be able to kill him. At least you'd have a constant obstacle to deal with in this area. Well, I say that, but there's a guy on this bridge who's chucking absolute... Okay, fair enough. I'm shutting up. I'm eating my own words because that guy was a bit more challenging to deal with. Still, a lot of these enemy encounters, they're really not challenging. They're not really introducing any new things either at this point. They're just sort of chucking more and more of the same nukes at us in different arrangements, which... I guess it's a good way to deal with them, because some of these mooks, some of them have a spread shot, so they shoot 3 bullets at once. Some of them shoot directly at us, some of them throw grenades, so I guess it's okay that they do that. But you know, we're getting quite close-ish to the end of the game now, ladies and gentlemen. I was kind of I kind of hope they'd have some end-game exclusive bad mooks, you know, just to, I don't know, stir the cauldron a bit, if you know what I mean. Unless they have, and I'm just forgetting, because, like I said, it's been months since I played this game. I can't remember properly. But I digress. Time to move on up and free that teensy. And did that guy just really hurt himself? I don't know, I heard a punch noise in it, so I'm assuming that guy just hurt himself. No matter, no matter. It's time to fly up. Because on the bright side, at least my health bar has increased a little bit. You know, it's a bit, Oh no, it's increased fully. Okay, I just realized we just freed the teensy. And that does answer my question from earlier on about the health bar, because the health bar does increase to maximum whenever you free enough teensies. So there we are. If you need a full restore, look out for teensy cages. I do believe I actually pick up every teensy cage in the game during this playthrough, so if anyone's curious where to find them all, just use this as a guide. I think I think I get them all. I'm not entirely sure, so... Before the hate comments come in that, oh, you missed one in world, whatever. Alright, before you send those comments to me, I think There's a difference between thinking and knowing. Anyway. Was he just floating in the air? That, I don't even know what those things are. They're kind of like geckos. Was that gecko thing sort of floating in the sky, or... I know he's meant to be attached to the wall, but from the camera angle, it just looks like he was floating in place. That's probably what the developers did to avoid clipping issues, I suppose, because clipping issues are a thing in these games, and they are a pain. But yeah, if you run out of swingy swing power, a new mook will pop in for you to gain access to a new swingy swing power in this particular area, so you don't have to backtrack to the previous area to grab hold of it, which I do appreciate, Anyway, it's time to pretty much finish off this world, I do believe, with a totally radical, bodacious section, if I do say so myself. Rayman's gonna take us some extreme sports after dealing with these mooks. And great, more of the force field guys. You know, we do have one interesting thing way later on with the force field guys, because as you can tell, they put a force field around a mook. Well, later on, they sort of daisy-chain force field guys. It's like in the last level now, so I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. But they sort of daisy-chain these force field guys, so you have to punch each of the force field guys to find the top of the chain, and just working them like that. It's kind of neat. But I digress. There's another teensy in the bag. I have no idea what he just said. So yeah, another teensy in the bag. It's time to go and do some totally radical snowboarding sequence. Goalbox? How do you get frozen like that? Or whatever. Anyway, for this sequence by here, you basically need to avoid as many obstacles as possible and race Glowbox to the very end. If you don't, you know, if you fail to succeed in reaching the end before Glowbox, you will have to redo. What the hell? You will have to redo this entire sequence over again. So just dodge as many obstacles as possible. That's my bad. I keep pushing the trigger buttons for some reason. But keep avoiding as many obstacles as possible. Collect as many gold shiny things as you can on the way, and you should be fine for the most part. I would say though, I do love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is really, I don't know, it's funky. It's very extreme, to use my 90s lingo. That is the age period I did grow up in, after all. But I digress. It is a very simple sequence, this, and partially I do believe it's a bit luck-based. Because you do go through the sequence, and I feel that Rayman's speed is very inconsistent, and as you can tell, the frame rate is not doing too good either, or at least it seems that way. It could just be my video editing glitching up. But basically, this sequence, it's a little bit funky, it's a little bit choppy. Good fun though, good music. And sometimes Rayman's speed just really is inconsistent. Like, sometimes he just goes fast, sometimes he goes slow. I have no idea how to control his speed properly. It's a bit of a pain to deal with. And of course, needless to say, you should avoid all the enemies on the course because they will slow you down. That's honestly, that's a given. That is a given. Come on, I've almost made it. This is actually the final stretch to the end of the course, ladies and gentlemen. So if you don't beat Goalbox to this point, basically you've lost and you have to repeat the race. So it's a bit annoying, but there we are. Come on, Rayman, go fast. Make like Sonic the Hedgehog and go fast. Yeah. You know what, I think it's time for a speed montage because we failed that. So it's time to be cool, it's time to be wild, and it's time to be groovy. back. So I had to speed montage that, so I didn't want to send you guys the full speed version of that again. But if anyone's wondering, the song is Be Cool, Be Wild, and Be Groovy from Sonic Adventure. It's one of my favorite tracks from that game, so yeah. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. With that, that is it for this part. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye!